Well, what do we have here? This is a nice little surprise, an ARH Holocron update. Let's get right to it. Din is back unnerfed, and I'm super excited for this. Wookie Tribe is back, baby. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, Star Wars Destiny folks. Welcome back to Dice Commando and the Commando cast. Thanks for tuning in, and happy Destiny Friday. So this week, ARH Holocron update. I didn't expect it to come, but I'm super happy it did. There's some really cool stuff in here. Pretty excited about this. Also, tonight I'm drinking Purple Haze, from Abita. It's a good raspberry lager. It's delish. It's delish. So we get to do that and go through the Holocron at the same time. All right. So, we'll go through the article. I don't need to read everything to y'all because y'all can read and all that. But something I think is really cool is I didn't realize that the League folks were essentially being a pilot program for some of the changes that they were testing or considering in terms of re-legalities and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. Actually, it's really smart if you think about it, because they're the folks that are the most on the pulse of everything going on from a competitive meta, whatever you want to call it, Star Wars Destiny these days. So makes a lot of sense. All right. So that's really cool. I'm actually really glad to hear about that. All right. So restricted pairings to start out. So no bans or anything like that, but we do have a restricted pairing. So the Sun and Path to Mastery are now restricted, so you cannot play them in the same deck together. Having restricted pairings from characters is always, and plots, I guess in this case, is always a lot more elegant. At least it's a lot more simple than it is, necessarily for cards in deck, because that can get messy sometimes, missing a battlefield and stuff like that. Obviously a while back they went back to the restricted pairings or the restricted sets, as opposed to just having like an overall list. So I really like this. It makes it a lot easier. It's a lot more elegant solution. So again, having son and daughter, having the Sun and Path to Mastery, so you can't get, you can't do tricks, right? It makes a lot of sense, right? For errata, this one is not a small one at all, right? So Din Djarin's errata is non-errated. So he's back to his OG printing. This is very fascinating, right? Because if you go in the Wayback Machine, it was high stakes, right? Yeah. He was doing some stuff, right? And people were not super, there were some people who were not super happy about it at the time, and hence led to the errata. And the fact that it's coming out, I think, says a lot about how things have changed overall in terms of maybe not necessarily power level, but just in terms of approach to the overall meta. And I think it really speaks a lot to the design, or potentially speaks a lot to the design philosophy changes in the latter sets, kind of for an overall holistic approach, and how this fits into that. So this is very interesting. So you can now get the resource, and it really opens up a lot of stuff. There's a whole thing we can go down there on who to pair him with. Again, I still think that the 18, there's a lot of advantages to the 3-die Mando. I still think the 18-die Mando is probably the better pairing, especially these days. So we'll see what folks come up with. I don't see running him at 14. I think you'd either run him at 18 or 22. I think you run him at 18. I think that's the right call. All right, now, the reprint list update. This is what I'm super excited about, because it opens up just a bajillion and one deck concept. So many of you are familiar that for most of Covert Missions, at least the latter part, because it was a long beta, but at least the latter part of Covert Missions, I was playing Ayla Tarful Tribe. It was a deck I really, really liked. The red-blue synergy went really well there with sticks and redeploys and all that. And Tribe was a big part of that, of being able to bounce. They were both relatively low health characters at the time. 21 health is all you came in with, but with Tribe, you could do things. And I really loved it. Now, with that said, Tarful's not back. But we do have the Kashyyyk Warrior. And the Kashyyyk Warrior, again, is that non-unique, elite non-unique. So you can run 8-11. By and large, works, by and large, works better at 8. Specifically because, right, if you're going to run him with Tribe, then he's the pair is effectively 11. And running him plus Tribe at 14 is pretty restrictive. Running him plus Tribe at 11 is really not, just in terms of like the avenues it opens up. So we have Valor's Tribe, Fortitude is back, right? Remember, that's not just Wookiee, that can go on anybody. So that might be relevant. Actually, we'll have to see. Generally, that plays better on like your bigs for more health. You can prevent them from going down and stuff like that. But with the number of redeploys we have right now, I think there's a very real trade, especially in red, right, with the Westerners and stuff like that. I think there's a very real trade-off with that. So I don't know how Fortitude would fit in. It'll be very interesting to see what people can do with that. As far as the Warrior Tribe goes, I think a lot of people are going to do that. ATRT is also back. Now, I don't know that ATRT is going to have a ton of impact. That said, there are some trooper decks that are kind of underlying out there that potentially could be very interesting. I mean, Bo-Katan's still a thing. Rex is still a thing. We have Rex, Cody. I mean, there's plenty of trooper stuff out there that could be explored by this, right? Remember, we still have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles plot. It's very interesting. I don't know. The one thing about it, though, remember, because it's ATRT's trooper die, so we have a fair amount of trooper supports now that can some of them which can actually get upgrades, upgrades redeployed to them. So that's pretty neat, actually. So I think these 4 cards, there's only 4 cards added to the reprint list. Do note nothing's coming off the reprint list. So that's something, right? I mean, the reprint list keeps getting bigger, which is it's not a complaint. It's not a complaint. So that's going to be very interesting, right? Because we're basically bringing in Wookiees and troop, right? With one fell swoop, they bring in Wookiee and trooper support. So I think it's pretty cool. Okay. So I've already belabored that quite a bit. I don't want to do it too much. And then, right, the last part here is basically talking about what I kind of opened up with, which is the fact that they're using the League, or at least this time they use the League essentially as their pilot program. And I think that's pretty cool. I think it's a really smart thing to do. All right, and then last note on here, of course, should have led with this, but the online championship is coming up 9th of September. That is not tomorrow. That is next weekend. So that's pretty, right? It's pretty close. So get those decks locked in. I don't know if this changes anything for you. Probably did. If you were plan on doing Sun, right? Plan on doing the Sun thing, it probably affected you. So yeah, fair enough. So I guess Snake, you're on a different deck, but I think Snake probably would have been on a different deck anyway. So anyway, the details are here. Obviously, I'll put a link below to the actual sign up, but I think if you can do it, you should. $8 is pretty awesome. The price support looks really freaking awesome. So good job as normal. So anyway, that's pretty much it today. I am really excited about this. I'm going to do a whole episode later on about Wookie Tribe. I'm really excited that's back. I'm bummed Tarful's not back, but I'm like not really bummed that Tarful's not back. There's a lot of places we can go. But Ayla, right? And by Ayla, I mean 17-point dual color Ayla. She's red. So not really going to do anything with her. Because I think you need your blue if you're going to try to do that. So I'm thinking maybe red, yellow is where the path lies. We'll have to check it out and see. So anyway, folks, that'll do it for today. Let me know in the comments if you are excited or bummed, I suppose, about anything that happens with this. I mean, the only thing to be bummed about, quite frankly, is the restriction. Technically, I guess you'd be concerned about Den. That's fair. Let me know if you're concerned about Den, but otherwise, let me know what cool Wookiee decks you're going to be cooking up. Nothing else, folks. Have a great weekend. Go Commando.